Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to our deciding game 3 here, Vega Squadron taking on M19 in the CIS region for the International 2017 CIS Qualifiers. Top team from this region will move on to the big dance. I think we're almost at the $20 million prize pool mark, Andy.
Very close indeed. All thanks to that bundle.
Dota definitely not dead.
Not dead, especially after you have that battle point sale. That's how you know.
Yeah, the sale is where you get the real spike.
You know, it's like when you were a kid and you had like Game Genie or whatever. That's pretty much what Valve just did. They turned on Game Genie for the prize pool. Like, it's looking a little bit down. Oh, what if we do? JK, it's like 20 million instantly. Good business, you know.
It must be nice. I mean, I remember I wanted a Game Genie as a kid, but my parents wouldn't let me have one. Thought I should like game the good old-fashioned way, even though they didn't know anything about the games. But just the idea of cheats like rubbed them the wrong way. So I got one eventually. But all right. Anyway, draft is on our hands. So Clockwork, who was banned in Phase 1 in Game 1, he was banned in Phase 2 in Game 2. Has now been first picked by Vega. This is a bit of a curveball for them. M19 going with the Nyx again. They mix it up with the Warlock as well. That Sand King of Vegas did get banned. So that is the big draft change for the first phase bans.
I think that Vega have adapted pretty nicely though. Like the heroes that they have right now don't really care about Nyx. Like Venno doesn't really care about Nyx. Clockwork doesn't either. Normally, during the mid game, Clockwork is often seen as a counter to Nyx because you just hook him, and it doesn't matter if you have Carapace or not. It's only going to block one instance of damage, battery assault inside of a cogs, and you're donezo. So I think that Vega are not going to be having to deal with any more of M19's Venno nonsense. But my God, the team fight, LD, Warlock tied.
All right, so you see this giant team fight. You know, you can pick Silencer. You can try and not fight into them, split push, or you can crush the lanes before they come online.
I mean, this is a pretty good choice too from Vega. A classic. Shioma the Slayer loves this hero. He used to play it all the time.
This is like really a CIS staple, the Disruptor. They love that hero.
Yeah, it's fantastic with Clockwork as well. So obviously you have the synergy of the Rocket Flare vision for Glimpse, so you don't even have to Thunderstrike, you can just Glimpse. You can hook someone into Static Storm, which Tidehunter obviously can't do anything about because Kraken won't remove an area of effect spell that just lingers there. So they have a way of dealing with the Tide already. And then you have Venno, who just is probably one of the most annoying heroes in Dota.
Yeah, also gives you a little vision for the Glimpse potentially as well with those wards. So.
Yep.
Well, what M19 want to do? They go for the puck, so even more team fight. And into the Disruptor as well. It's one of the better heroes at punishing him.
Well, I guess we have a pretty good idea of where the heroes are going now, right?
Yeah, so it should be the mid-puck, off-lane Tide. You're looking for the M19 carry to round things out for Vega. Venno's always that safe lane hero, so probably clock support, I guess. Could be an off-laner. We'll have to wait and see.
Given the heroes they have now, I think it depends on the mid matchup, I suppose. It's like, 'cause sometimes Clockwork can be a great support if you just get to walk to the mid lane and be annoying, like against the more common mids like Lina. But against a puck, it's not really the greatest feeling in the world. You're not gonna bully the lane at all. In the meantime, though, Vega, they take the classic puck counter. This lane's a lot more even than it used to be, though, to be fair. I think that puck actually has a little bit of an advantage in the harass department early on. And of course, as TA levels, you get the benefit of being able to do things like Ancient Stack and that kind of stuff, whereas Puck is more of the team fight hero, like you mentioned. So a little bit of a different style coming in from Vega with their mid this time. Very, very farm-oriented.
Yeah, TA finally rearing her head. She had some big success earlier in the qualifiers, and with pretty much the TA that bristle, the kings of killing off the Ancient Stack. So see if M19 allow TA to farm those. They're pretty good at fighting up hills and into those areas. They're not so great at stealing the stacks, but it does look like a brawler lineup for them. They got a little bit more single target focus thus far. They got one more ban to go. They'll be banning a carry of some kind, and they'll be rounding out their draft with their, I guess either their offlaner or another support.
I really like the TB ban from Vega. Great hero for grouping up early. Just pop that meta, have a Tidehunter, a Warlock, and a Puck behind you. How the heck do you stop that? Like, how do you...
Is there another hero that can kind of do the same thing?
Juggernaut 2 can do it to a lesser extent. Healing Word's also fantastic against Venom, but he's going to be a little bit less damage-oriented, I guess, during the early game. He can't really beat meta. Gives you like 120 damage at level 7. It's pretty insane. So in terms of raw pushing power, probably not. You could maybe do even something like a Lone Druid, but...
yeah, Lone Druid, Lycan, I guess we've seen a lot of.
Yeah, Lycan's pretty good too.
A little hard against the Clockwork. But
Lycan's actually amazing against TA. Because you can get in her face. She doesn't like other heroes that can just get on top of her, break through her refraction. You obviously have the wolves and stuff like that, so you chew through it really quick and you punch her and you have a huge amount of raw health. So build like 1 or 2 armor items. Very nice choice against the TA.
Oh, Vega. One more pick. What do they want?
Ooh.
So it is a clock support. Offlane Underlord.
I've actually played this hero quite a bit recently. I feel like he's on the precipice of being something great, you know? He enables your team to do so much stuff that you normally would not be able to do. Obviously have the retreat mechanism of his ultimate. Firestorm, best pretty much wave clear for a single cast spell in the game. Like you just kill creep waves at any stage with that and Spell Amp. So once you hit 15, the creeps just die. And even at level 7, you do a tremendous amount to it.
Ah, the anti-maging, it begins.
This is ooh, I don't actually know about this one. Because this is a hero that, traditionally speaking, you have roughly the same timing as TA. Like, you want to farm 1 or 2 items, TA wants to farm 1 or 2 items. Depending on the lane, LTW might not be able to farm as fast as G, depending on how the lane goes. And if you have Blink Deso and you get Roshan and your AM only has like a Battle Fury and a Yasha, that is not a place you want to be as an anti-mage, because there is no way you're going to a fight. So I'm thinking that they obviously are playing more of a 4 Protect 1 style, and they just want to try to buy as much space as they can and hope that the lanes are good, but there is the chance that Vega can just run this game over.
How does the AM lane against the Underlord?
You do alright. You burn his mana. It's very similar to laning against Darkseer. The Underlord, depending on who sticks around bottom, like if it's Muriel and LTW both, so Warlock AM versus Underlord, that can be a bit of a struggle, because Warlock's harass is amazing. However, if they do some kind of dual lane, for example, they might force the Nyx Assassin to be down there as well, which could still benefit Vega.
Alright. So, you're liking Vega.
I think Vega, if they hit their timings properly, and like I said, I feel like they've overall executed a bit better than M19. I feel like they make less mistakes from a game-to-game standpoint. They just had in my opinion, an inferior draft in game number 2.
Let's see if they can make it work here. I think I'm with you as well. I've seen TA be very successful this qualifier, and it's a pretty good TA game. At least, you know, early to mid game shouldn't have too much trouble. So, I feel like G is just gonna take over.
That's historically for the qualifier been what happens. Every time I see a TA, it just gets completely out of control and just smashes the game wide open.
Yeah, it seems like it's real, especially the Dire TA. It just seems like teams really struggle to contest the Ancients.
It is pretty OP to have a shrine literally right next to your Ancients. Like, that is
the dream.
Yeah, it is the dream. And the positioning of it, too, is it's much easier to defend. Because the other ingress point is, like, all the way through the top. And it takes forever to get to. Whereas the Radiant one, it's pretty easy to get behind the Radiant Tier 1 tower, right? So, yeah, I guess Dire does have the Ancient advantage for sure in this case.
Yeah, it used to be more about the Roche, but nowadays, obviously, that's not the case. So, all right, game 3, Vega. They come in as, you know, maybe at least slight favorites, as they did take M19 down the group stage, but ultimately all these teams were 7-2, so they're all very evenly matched overall. It's perhaps more of a rocks, paper, scissor, rubber band type thing. I don't really know what the fourth one in that relationship would be.
There's apparently a lineup that VP drafted that they said they thought could not be beaten, so I guess there's that one too, which is like, you sucker punch the guy and run away, maybe?
What is the sucker punch?
Yeah, rock, paper, scissors,
yeah,
sucker punch.
Sucker punch.
That's how I'd win.
Got him.
Just depends on if you like the person or not, right?
Who would you sucker punch first at the sub?
Who would I? Oh, Lumi for sure.
Lumi?
Yep. He would understand.
That's okay. I've sucker punched Lumi before.
Yeah, he's very good at taking jokes. So
Lumi's he's a good sport. We might have some more dank memes prepared. We'll see how the content team does getting them released, but for now we just have the dotes. So G is going to be mid, laning against the puck. Used to be this was a very TA favored matchup, but nowadays with the puck's improved damage, seems like they do quite a bit better in pretty much every matchup.
the early lane is way better for puck than it used to be. Like you mentioned, getting multiple damage buffs. The bigger thing is like people are just better now. So they know how to play against the TA who's, you know, level 1 refractions like 20 damage. It's like playing against OD. OD levels 1 to 3 is not really that impressive. It's actually pretty easy to beat him in that time. But once he gets to like 5 and 7, that's when it's really a nuisance. Same thing can be said for TA.
So Clock is trying to be a pestilence here as he's dropping cogs to disrupt these pull attempts. Sioma being quite the pain in the rear, as meanwhile Afterlife will be on the off-lane Underlord, so trying to slow down this anti-mage as much as possible. That'll be his job. And meanwhile for M19, their off-laner is the Tidehunter, not getting any help for now. Slayer's going to make his move, though, towards the puck mid. If he orbs forward, could be in trouble. He's going to get cog blocked back the other way. Nyx stands his ground for now. Orb and a jaunt. Lane getting secured nicely by the Clock, so he tries to disrupt bottom, then he comes mid. Kind of a pain there. Doesn't get any kills, but looking to help G out a little bit.
Yeah, the easier of a time he has from levels like 1 to 3, better off it's going to be. And Afterlife is just giving him the business.
Yeah, plus 45.
Yeah, this is what happens when you trade, though, once the Underlord's out of mana. You just can't hit him anymore. You just have to hope that the Shadow Word is going to be enough with the regen that you bought as well.
It does have six tangos still available. So Slayer just continues to roam. Anywhere in particular you want Sioma to focus if you're the Clockwork? Just, oh, caught the watermelon exploding. That was about it.
Yeah, I'm surprised he actually died there. I guess he got, oh, he didn't even get killed. He just got caught out and died.
There's an early pointy glimpse. Did he like try to TP and have it canceled?
It could have been that. I only caught like the last part of it too.
Yeah, because he's walking back, so I think he may have tried for a TP and Disruptor saved the skill point.
Man, Shioma is just being super annoying in this mid lane. I really like what he's doing. You know, despite his best efforts even though, it's like G is still pretty even with the puck. And this kind of just reflects what we were talking about earlier. The lane matchup still being pretty okay for puck. And the later the game gets, you get to that 25. You get that blazing gold.
No, Silent!
Oh, he canceled his oh my goodness.
Twice he had the auto attack and canceled it. I think he might have gotten fogged on the first one, but that's painful.
Oh my goodness. Well,
at least there was no one there to get the experience, I guess.
Yeah, there's always that. The silver lining.
All part of the plan, right? Right? That was pretty bad. Now the glimpse back onto Funnick. Kinetic field gets dropped, and the Tide is getting pressured a lot here early. Looks like a second death for 1% Moonlord.
Yeah, the Veno is...
Did you follow all those Funnick posts and memes?
Oh, the tweets?
Yeah, when he kind of went off the deep end?
I don't know if he ever came back, LD. Not sure.
I think I may have like unfollowed him or muted him, so maybe he's still doing it. I'm just not aware. I'm actually not sure, or he stopped posting on Twitter.
It was kind of getting to the point where I thought someone just got his Twitter account.
Yeah.
And I was just like, what is happening?
Or he found like the medicine cabinet and had all the drugs at once. But,
possible.
But the Dota's still been good for Mr. Funnick, so gotta credit him for that.
Yeah, his Nyx in the last game was solid.
So how are we looking here for Nyx? Drops the silence on the way out, just constantly being threatened by G. Once that side blade goes for the deny. Meanwhile, swarming through the back door. Slayer wants to join up here. They're gonna make a go on Funnick. This poor Tidehunter is just getting bullied to the ends of the earth. They have the battery assault. I don't know that they can kill him, just the two of them.
They're waiting for the creep to die so the battery can hit just him.
Can certainly make his life sad. And now the trap is sprung. Funnick, the hate train has arrived. And Tidehunter is gonna die again. Another death for him. Funnick is having a real struggle here. While that was happening, in good news, they did get an Underlord kill bottom. So Anti-Mage off to a pretty nice start here. Relatively free farm for him.
If you look at the the off lanes though, in regards to overall farm and like what they're doing in the lane, I still think that Afterlife is having a much better overall time. Like this Tide has not even really been able to lane. Being forced to go for the Iron Talon as well.
Yeah, Afterlife not CSing very well, but he's already level 4. Funnick's still only 3.5.
Yeah, Underlord's not too shabby of a jungler either. You get the Iron Talon, you get some Arcane Boots. You kill that jungle pretty darn fast.
So what's like your like game plan when you're an Underlord? You're annoying in the laning stage. Like what do you look to do heading towards the mid game?
You're pretty much like a Darkseer. Like you play him essentially the same way. You build team fight oriented items. You walk with your team, and you ult them out if it's a bad fight, and you build like back and pipe and things that you would pretty much see a Darkseer by. It's essentially playing the same hero, just that I think Underlord has some better matchups that he does well in versus what a Darkseer can do.
Well, nice kill there in the mid lane. They didn't even have to use the glimpse. Silent is going to be leveling up now, level 2 glimpse. And the beauty of this Veno pick, you can just leave him alone top lane. You know he's going to make life miserable for whoever comes up here. Just really nobody can lane effectively against the Veno on this M19 lineup. So the siege begins with the catapult wave. The real you trying to ensure that this tower is brought low, if not entirely finished off, as Vega are going to go for the very efficient 3-man shrine up. I think this tower just dies top, Andy.
Yeah, there's no way they're stopping us.
Maybe they can deny it? No, they're not even going to try.
It's very risky. They already know that the Veno has a couple of points in a Gale.
And there's a Disruptor, yeah. So Nyx, he's used that orb to farm again. Looks like Slayer wants to punish him. Sioma coming in from behind. And he's going to make the journey over towards Funnick once again. So 3 heroes from M19 now arriving at the top lane. They're already down 2k this early. This is before the Ancients start getting cleared out. Actually, are there any stacks? No, surprisingly, no stacks for the TA. Sports have just been all about the ganking and the roaming thus far. They find the glimpse back. They're going to drop the cogs. Nice little trap sprung here with the Gale coming through. Working on Misha. They're likely to Soma as a trade, and rotations coming in. Even LTW arriving at this fight. Monovoid deployed. Actually, the Nyx surviving with the Warlock heal, and now they're going to get a 3rd kill potentially. Coil gets snapped up, and the real you dropping the ward, almost blocking himself away, will end up falling. So 3 hit the deck. M19 respond in numbers. They might lose the tower mid as the trade, but overall, very successful fight for them.
Surprising to see that even AM came along for the ride. I guess he just didn't really want to lane against the Underlord anymore. If he's down there in a 1v1, Afterlife can still be a pretty huge nuisance, so they're going to give Misha the solo EXP. Try to get that Nyx, his Vendetta, going as soon as possible. Might be getting ganked, though.
They want to punish this. Silent is looking to set up from the sides. Afterlife moving in, gets Mono Burn, though. Doesn't have much to work with here. Mango in the back pocket, but wants to save it for these Mono Boots. So now Misha getting caught out by the Impale. The chase forward. Vega will find the kill, bringing Misha down. Tower is slowly being chipped away at, and they're going to rotate the Veno here. So the goal for Vega seems clear. Just eradicate these outer towers, limit the team's safe space to farm, and try and prevent M19 from grouping up as 5, which is obviously where their lineup is going to be the strongest. So,
well, not having any tier 1s as an anti-mage in about 9 minutes is probably not the best place to be if you're currently M19. That's why I was kind of expecting that they wanted to do some more teamfight-oriented core, like a Jug or a TB that obviously Vega Squadron decided to ban out in the last phase. But this AM is just... I don't know if it's going to be able to get online fast enough. That's my biggest concern.
I mean, the good news is, like, there hasn't been that much emphasis on G's economy. Like, some TA games by this point you'll see like 2 quad stacks.
Right. And
he's only made 1 stack for himself, so I guess that buys the AM a little more time in that sense.
Yeah, that's a good way of looking at it as well. Afterlife in the meantime also going to be dying bottom. Getting a little big for his 4-legged britches, I guess.
I don't know if britches fit on that behemoth.
Yeah, I guess you'd probably call him something else at that point.
Probably splits them right open if he tries to cram those legs in there.
But again, it's a 4-hero rotation, you know? Almost everyone from M19 is sitting around the bottom lane. Still pretty much the same overall net worth lead for Vega as well. Even accounting for the kills that M19 got.
Oh, G in trouble mid, going for the TP out and will escape. They had the Ravage there.
Maybe they want to push the tower instead to save the Ravage for that. Not sure.
Yeah, I mean, you've already committed a coil. I guess you blow the Ravage there as well, and then maybe Vega just immediately look to punish you. But slowing that TA down is pretty huge given, you know, what you were talking about, that AM needs the time. So far, so good, though, as far as LTW's farm goes. He is ahead of the TA, at least for the time being.
Their team isn't necessarily that good at killing him either. That's the one benefit of being an AM in this particular game, is even though your towers are dead pretty early on, you still feel pretty good about, you know, sitting in a lane by yourself and farming. Sure, once a disruptor hits 6, that might be another story. But until that point, and until the TA starts to get, you know, that Deso Blink Dagger going, you have some breathing room that you can work with.
Vega want to smoke. Nyx in the neighborhood, and Silent instantly having his popped. So they know he was nearby, but they are unable to punish that. Go see a different Veno build this time, as early on, Aloha Dance does grab the Veil straight away. Not going for that Hurricane Pike Maelstrom build. Definitely one of the things I like most about Veno, just how flexible you can be with the item builds on this hero.
Well, just look at his team too. You get Static Storm, you got that Underlord with the Firestorm as well. It's a lot of magic damage. The Veil's not just good for him, it's good for 3/5 of his teammates. Even the Clockwork benefits a little bit. You know, Battery Assault getting amped, even Rocket Flare damage. There's a definite amount of synergy going on with the Veno build.
Gotta pause here. You want to translate?
Something probably about a peripheral breaking, because that's usually what happens, or he's asking if the enemy team is lagging.
Or he needs to put his hands under hot water.
That too.
But I guess...
Speaking of, it is just frigid in here, isn't it? Is it just me? Maybe it's because I'm sick. Got that fever cold kind of thing going on.
It's like that's just one of the side effects of the time travel, Andy.
That's true. I didn't really work out all the kinks. Next time it'll be a better batch, I promise.
Is there going to be a next time? Oh, Static Storm catching out Nyx, but there's no follow-up for this, and oh, he just barely goes down at the buzzer. Silent able to get that last Thunderstrike tick in. We'll get the kill. A solo kill by the Disruptor on the Puck. That is a big concern for M19. This Puck is having a real tough time. They do find G in the mid lane. They're able to burn all his mana. Not able to follow it up for a kill. Silent does have Stick and Glimpse soon, so anyone who sticks around could be in danger.
I'm feeling like, you know, Vega are accruing a larger net worth lead over time, but they're not really impeding the anti-mage, I guess, is the...
Can AM take over then, like, if he is unimpeded like this?
I think so. I think it's definitely possible. You got your level 6 on the Nyx Assassin now. The Puck, he doesn't really have Blink yet, but he is already level 9. He has the Coil, you have Ravage. You can defend your tier 2s. You can see that Vega have pretty much halted their aggression in regards to push, and are mainly playing a pickoff game because of how difficult it is to really push into M19's tier 2 towers, just because of all the ultimates that come up between the time that you kill the tier 1s and the time that you're able to push the tier 2s and feel confident.
Oh. So often we have seen when it's a huge, like, you know, a potential... Oh, this is not an elimination game, but a very crucial playoff game that teams will just turn to that 5th pick anti-mage as a get-out-of-jail-free card or a savior for their playoff chances. And so far, so good for the anti-mage, but the rest of the team definitely just having a struggle as the Puck is way behind the TA, almost 2k net worth down. Tidehunter has recovered decently. Funix doing alright, all things considered, but certainly not a great showing by him. As M19 start to group up here, 4 up near this top tower. Afterlife is holding the line, closing in on the mech. So you will have the headdress, the buckler momentarily. No one else from Vega really wanting to join him, but they do have the Deso now. They also have a TA double damage rune bottled up, so G could really make something big happen for his team's Afterlife. He's gonna Dark Rift his way back to the fountain and off to safety.
Buys a lot of time. You know, take him another, what, 10, 15 seconds, take his tower down. In the meantime, Vega secured the tier 2 bottom. Doesn't seem like a really big thing, but, you know, every inch matters, especially when it's a safe lane tier 2 that goes down.
And does really limit the AM safe space to farm. You know, so when he does get the Battle Fury, as you mentioned earlier, that, you know, you take these early towers, anti-mage can't split pushes confidently. Sure, he's mobile, but There's plenty of catch for him between the Clockwork Vision, the Disruptor Static Storm.
Oh, this is perfect. Double damage as soon as he gets the Deso. Couldn't have asked for a better timing.
Yeah, he's got a Haster in as well, so after he gets this Aegis, then he could just go get some kills perhaps too. Nyx is going to orb his way in. He sees the Rosh is low, but it's not low enough for him to jaunt forward, and with that, big rock down. Easy Aegis for Vega. Afterlife is being stalked, but with that Roshan commitment, Vega have too many heroes up towards the northern half of the map. G is now going to start aggressively trying to limit their economy, stealing their Aegis. There's the hook. Will isolate Funnick. Has the Ravage ready, but this is not the time you want to be using it, as the Veil is going to drop them low. Battery Assault being hounded by this Clockwork. Funnick down. Quick, clean kill for him. And now the Static Storm looking for more. They have found the puck. G is able to decapitate him, takes him out with the Side Blades. And Vega are cruising now. 2 cores secured. That Blink Dagger still not ready from the puck at 15 minutes, and things are really looking like they're all going to be about the Anti-Mage.
It very often is the case, especially with, like, after having 7.0 released. Whenever you pick a hero like Anti-Mage, it's just that the enemy team is always going to fight you. They're not going to let you just run around the map and do what you want and hit creeps and split push and kill towers and all that stuff without doing something of equal force or greater in return. So Vega, you know, they see that the AM only has a Battle Fury. And we said this during the draft as well. Your timing is roughly similar to a TA. But the thing is, the TA can kill Roshan with 1 item. You cannot. And with the rune spawn, I guess, as Misha.
Oh, Misha does get off a really nice Carapace as well as the Impale, but Disruptor is there for the cleanup.
Yeah, this is just a... I don't want to say like a huge outdraft, but it feels, at this point, like significant. Like a 9k net worth lead at 16 minutes.
Yeah, that's pretty significant.
It's putting like a tremendous amount of pressure on their high ground defense and just the AM himself. And if the AM is the only one who's ever really farming on the map because he's the only one who can be on the map, then you run the risk of, you know, LTW just getting picked off 1 or 2 times in the...
And then it's basically GG.
Yeah, it's just over at that point, so... M19 need to do something here. They need to do it soon.
The map is starting to feel very claustrophobic as the Dark Rift comes. Looks like they want to get active. They bring in the whole 5-man squad just like that. They gank the tower, and they look for the hero kills too. Jumping onto Nyx, Static Storm deployed. This poor, unfortunate soul of a puck dead again. I don't think I've seen a puck die this much once this tournament this early. He is 1 and 4, and you can really feel it. Vega, just like that, maybe even looking for high ground. There's no outer towers left. They've still got the Aegis. This is prime time to strike, Andy.
They even have a mech too on the Underlord.
And you mentioned, like, oh, he might have Yasha when the TA's just gotten her Deso Blink. It's going to be hard. He doesn't even have that Yasha yet.
Yeah, I think this one...
Oh, okay.
This one might just be over LD.
A little anticlimactic, but Vega are in cruise control mode. Funnick down as well. Just like that. Kill after kill after kill after kill after kill. It's looking real bad if you're M19.
Well, Vega proving that they didn't pick M19 for no reason. Knew that they could take him in a best-of-3 series, could be putting themselves in that upper bracket, playing against the winner of Empire and... Who's the last team?
It's Team Spirit.
Team Spirit, thank you. But yeah, it's looking rough. And you can't really blame the Anti-Mage either. That's one of the biggest things that I think people can take away from this game, is he played probably about as good as you could have possibly asked him to, minus like, okay, if you want a super nitpick, he could cut creeps a little bit more. But other than that, you can't really fight until you have Manta on this hero, especially against what Vega have. There's a Static Storm. You can very easily get rooted by the Pit of Malice. There's Hookshot. The TA has a tremendous amount of physical damage and another DD. Like, this is just snowballing at its finest.
And it's going to continue mid now. Still have not seen that big team fight. If ever there were a time, now would be it. But unfortunately, from 19, they fight into a G Aegis double damager TA special. Brings that tower mid down already to half. Anti-Mage maybe looking to set up a flank here when the fight breaks out. He's near his own Ancients. Still not cutting the wave. He is going to blink in, try to drag those crew stack, but they've already gotten to the high ground, so it's a bit too late to try and make that maneuver happen. And now G looking for the range racks. Those side blades just chewing through Misha. Almost half his health with 1 double damage auto attack. G is dropping low. Still the Aegis online for some time. They're going to shrine up. potentially look for this engage any moment. Static Storm gets deployed. It will catch out Misha. Oh, no, not quite. The Thunderdome was raised a bit too late. The Ravage committed, but not doing enough damage. Even with a perfect Golem, G just runs in. Straight forward, the Aegis now finally getting cracked open, but they'll have to buy back to the puck. They got to go for round 2 here. G lies in wait. He's going to blink out. Looks to lock down that Fairy Dragon. Pesky though it may be. Nyx is in danger. Glimpse back. And now into the waiting arms of a Rocket Flare. He will fall as G looks for more. Muriel next on the list. That's 4. An Anti-Mage against the world. Won't be able to get the job done. He's got to blink out of the cogs. Head straight down mid. That leaves the racks exposed. That's going to be 2 full lanes down. A Dark Rift out of here. And with that, it is probably the game.
Yeah, we're looking at almost 1,000 GPM a minute difference between the overall net worth of the two teams. Ooh. I don't know if it was just because of the last ban of TV like completely destroyed M19's game plan. Because when you get beaten this badly, you have to look at it almost from not just a drafting perspective, but an everything perspective. Because, okay, you have a bad draft, you can still probably win the game, like Game 2, where M19 I felt had the better squad, and even though their execution was maybe not as good as Vega's, they were still able to win because of a good draft. But this time it's just, the puck didn't have a good lane. The AM was free farming, but he was the only one who was having a good time. They killed Funnick like 2 or 3 times in the laning phase, even before he started to go to the jungle. It was like the draft in conjunction with Vega just saying, yeah, we're just going to win now.
Yeah, I think they're about to press that win now button, Andy. 5 just surging down this bottom lane. Haste to TA. G has gotten every single rune, it feels like. He's going to blink onto Muriel. BKB committed. There's no rock ready. The Tidehunter doesn't have Ravage. Even if they did, it doesn't feel like it would matter. Vega closing in on the Megas and the GG. There's the hook. Connects on 2. Traps them into cogs. The puck can orb out. No such luck for the Nyx Assassin. And Static Storm, Anti-Mage jumping into this thing, is going to get chunked down in a hurry. Has to blink out to safety. That leaves the way open to this tier 3. Vega just few more seconds here, and they'll bring down a range Rax as well. Funnick trying to buy time. That Ravage still 20 seconds away, though. It's a long time to have to wait. And Vega really are not interested in dragging this one out. Melee Rax in jeopardy. That's going to fall as well. Cleaning up this entire M19 base. And on the verge of knocking them down to the lower bracket. They won't be out of it, but it's going to be a tough day tomorrow if they want to have a shot at making it to TI7. GG. Vega will advance.
Very impressive performance in game number 3 from Vega. The draft was really solid. I think M19 kind of picked themselves into a bit of a corner, all in on the Anti-Mage. And again, it's, you watch this game and you go, wow, Anti-Mage is just not that great of a hero, but the reality is Vega had been setting up a push lineup for like 3 or 4 picks. You don't pick Underlord, you don't pick Veno, you don't pick TA if you're not, planning on trying to take some kind of objectives. So M19 just felt, we have this crazy good team fight. As long as our lanes aren't awful, we should be able to, defend and give time for the Anti-Mage to reach that critical mass. And to his credit, his farm was extremely good. He had a 21-minute Manta Battle Fury. That's not bad. It's just by the time he had the Manta Battle Fury, the game was over. So, yeah, I don't know. It's hard to really place fault with stuff like this because once you've picked the hero, you have to play with it. But I think that pretty much anything that would have been able to offer more team fight instead of the AM, in hindsight, would have definitely been a better choice. I still think like Juggernaut would have been nice.
Yeah, I'm not sure about the Anti-Mage either, but it's game 5. Sometimes you feel like you need that trump card and just kind of hope you get to farm for a while. Vega, it just doesn't seem like that style works that well in this patch.
Not really, especially against heroes like TA. TA is probably like the best possible pick against a team like this because you know that you can kill the Roche super, super easily. And even without, G getting stacks, he still hit his timing very fast. He got his Deso, he got the very fortuitous DD spawn, they kill Roche, and at that point, like right there, M19 were just on the back foot, and it was like, oh god, what do we do?
Power spike.
Yeah, it was just a wall.
Yeah.
It's like anyone who's watched Game of Thrones, the wall in the north, that's pretty much what happened as soon as they killed Roche.
Yeah, except that wall just kept on growing.
Yeah, it didn't stop. Didn't stop.
Yeah, alright, well, hell hasn't quite frozen over, but M19 might feel like it has. They are going to drop down to the lower bracket now. Vega, move on. They play either Spirit or Empire. That series coming up next. I'll be casting that one for you guys with Fogged here on BTS 5. So be sure to follow this guy at Draskell, Dota 2. The word, not the number.
I don't know why I use the word. Regret it every day of my life, LD.
Yeah. Can you not get the number one?
I think I can, but I have to remake my account, I think.
You
Or
can change your name.
You can change your name?
Yeah, you can.
All right,
as long as someone else doesn't have it.
Okay.
All right, well, hopefully you guys learned something. A little bit of Dota, a little bit of Twitter. We'll be back for more after this.
E-gaming bets, online betting for every